The workplace can be sometimes the most challenging place to be, and hey, you spend so much time there that it's part of your life, whether you like it or not. But it's also a great place to flex your magical muscle and challenge yourself with ways that you can do magic on the fly. And that's what this video is going to be about. Hi, I'm Sandra from MysteryWitchSchool.com, and if you're new to Wicca and witchcraft, or you already practice the craft and you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button below so that you don't miss anything. In this video, it's all about magic and the workplace. When I'm talking about the workplace, that's anywhere that you work, particularly if you work with other people, or if you work with customers or clients and you see a lot of people, because most of the problems that we encounter in the workspace are of course to do with other people usually. So you want to be able to have some control over your own domain, such as over your circumstances, so that you get to keep your job, get promoted if you want to get promoted, stay under the radar if you want to stay under the radar, do whatever it is that you want to do in order to be able to keep your job and the lifestyle that you are accustomed to. You can do magic in the workplace in the same way that you do magic for everything. So you may even have done magic to get the job in the first place. When it comes to the workplace, you may also need to do magic to keep you in the job that you are, especially if you know that there's going to be layoffs or redundancies. You may want to do a spell for you to hold on to your job. Maybe you want to put yourself under the radar or be a little invisible when they're actually deciding who's going to go. Or maybe you need to do the opposite. Maybe you need to keep an eye out on where the redundancies are going to be and make sure you're not in that place, that you can maybe transfer out of that place before this stuff starts happening. And you may need to have magic to help you with a transfer. So of course you can do spells for these things. If you know well in advance these things could be happening, then you can do spells to help you with that. You can do a transfer spell. I've done one of those. I went from being in a call center environment and being transferred into another more back of house environment because I just couldn't stand being in a call center anymore, because it's a thankless job. People just don't appreciate people in call centers. So I moved from there to a job that was more back of house. I spent time on that spell and it didn't happen overnight. I had to still make a physical effort to get to know somebody in that area and get them to sort of help me basically get in. So I had to put my physical work in there, but I also put magic into that working as well. So that's why you're planning ahead with your magic. And of course you can do that with promotions if you're wanting a promotion. You could even do that if you're wanting a pay rise and you're in a situation where you can negotiate your income. You could do magic to help you influence the pay rise and make that your influence over the situation a little bit more positive, so that you can encourage your employer to give you that extra money. And at the same time, of course, put in the extra work and show them that you are worth that extra bit of money to pay you at the same time. So it's balancing your efforts in the normal mundane, the same way you would if you weren't using magic, and then throwing magic on top of that and enchanting the situation so that it gives you just that little extra push. So if you're after a promotion, do all the behaviors that would encourage your employers to promote you. Normal standard behaviors, doing your work really well, going above and beyond, getting to know the right people, doing the all networking stuff and all that stuff, and then enchant the situation, enchant the interview, enchant the situation to just give it that little extra push. Same with transfers, secondments, all those kinds of things. If you're wanting to protect your job because it's under threat from, like, as I said, a redundancy or layoffs, then you can do a spell to protect your job and also take precautions in the real world to protect your job as well. So that might be improving that your job is still necessary, or if you know that things are slowing down where you are, getting to another area and transferring to somewhere that may not be getting redundant might be the best strategy for you. So using magic that way in the workplace. Another way that you can use magic in the workplace, of course, is by going under the radar. It might be more beneficial for you to be overlooked for certain things. So you may want to do a bit of invisibility magic if that's the case as well. You can use magic in any way to help you with these situations. And of course, do the mundane work at the same time. So that's how you can be working in the workplace with magic, with the environment and the workplace itself. Every work environment, especially corporations where there's a lot of people and it's been going for a while, will build up an energy which is a bit like a thought form. It's called an egregore, and it's like a force or a spiritual sort of consciousness that's associated with the entity. For example, a corporation. It can be associated with the building as well. So ways that you can help yourself in the workplace is to get friendly with the egregore. So if you work for a corporation, you can actually kind of make offerings to the egregore. So that might be water in a pot plant, or it could be, it's hard to know what to do with offerings if you're in the workplace because you can't leave food lying around the place, but maybe you could offer energy, or you could offer scent, or chat to the egregore. Try to get it on your side so that it will help you energetically to be able to maneuver yourself around the workplace in a way that's going to keep you there or move you on to the places you want to go. So it's not just the environment though that you can use magic for in the workplace, it can also be on the energy of the people themselves. I know from working in office environments that the morale of the team that you're working in and then the general floor that you're working in carries the energy of the mood and the mindset of the people who work there. And when you get a lot of different people working in the one spot, you're going to get quite a variety of energies, some of them bouncing against each other. So if you're finding that the energy in your team is getting a bit too dark for you, as in it's getting maybe a little aggressive, maybe it's getting very negative, maybe people are very criticizing the job all the time, or maybe there's a bit of bullying going on, or maybe the corporation's gone into this sort of mindset of we don't want people to make mistakes, so every time they make one we're going to point it out big time and never let them forget it. That kind of thing can produce really negative energy. So you want to be able to lighten the energy by being able to project the energy you want in that space. So you can do energy work and then project the energy out. So doing pore breathing, you can bring in that energy through the pores of your skin and then let that energy out into the environment by pushing it out into the environment and choosing what type of energy you're wanting to give out. You can use emotional energy by pushing out joy, for example, so feeling the joy and feeling the joy in the energy that you're pushing out. You can use color, so maybe you want to calm down an aggressive environment, so you might want to put some nice green energy out there in the team and in the space. Or you might want to use the elements. So for example, if you've got a bullying, fiery boss, for example, and you've got that sort of fiery energy going on, maybe you want to throw some water energy at it to quell that fire. Or maybe something a bit more grounded might work, and it might be earth energy that you're wanting to do. Figure out what the energy is and then work out the best method for dealing with it. So that's how you can deal, of course, with the energy coming from people in the workplace. And of course, if you work with somebody and you're wanting to have a good relationship with that person, then of course you can use gemstones, you can wear jewelry, you can have talismans, you can use charms to be able to have that aura of somebody who is able to get on with other people well, negotiate well, but also being able to stand in your power at the same time so that you're not getting bullied or railroaded into anything at the same time. If you've got to do something quick on the fly, what I used to do was sigils. So with a sigil, you just come up with whatever it is you're wanting to have happen. So for example, you want protection for some reason, you don't feel safe, then you can just have the word "I am protected," put that down into a symbolic form very quickly, feel the energy of being safe as you're doing it, and then stick the talisman either under your desk or in a drawer or under your computer or somewhere, and just leave it there and forget about it. That's doing magic on the fly. So you get a quick sticky note, draw your talisman, draw a sigil, and stick it somewhere. If someone does find it, they're not going to know what it is anyway, because it's going to look weird. So they'll probably just think it's some strange doodling that you've been sticking under your computer, which is kind of weird, but you know, you're in an office, all sorts of things happen. Doesn't of course mean that you can only do this in offices. There's many workplaces that you can get creative and do these sorts of things. If you are in an office environment and you still use stationery, then you can use things like envelopes for binding, for example. They're a great source of a quick binding if you need to bind somebody or something because there's an issue. Then you can bind them by putting their name or a reference to the situation in an envelope, and of course binding the envelope, stick the envelope somewhere safe, and you can even take the envelope home and stick it in the freezer if you want to do that. You can do it that way. That's another way that you can use magic on the fly. So experiment with your magic and have fun with all of the different creative ways that you can use this in the workplace, because the workplace will give you a lot of opportunities, a lot of motivation to do magic so that you have more control over your life. And when you're feeling better in your own job yourself, and when you're feeling safe in your job and you're feeling better about your position and everything, that energy will carry over to the other people in your workspace. And if you're constantly bringing peaceful energy to your workplace or happy and joyful energy to your workplace, and you're putting that in every day, it will have an effect on your environment and everybody is going to benefit from it. So don't think it's about being all manipulative and stuff like that. Yes, it's manipulating the situation, but if it's for outcomes that are positive, you're going to actually help other people in the workplace raise up their energy as well. So you're actually doing them a favor and helping things along in a positive way. And that's what the craft is all about. It's what magic is about. It's about making the world a better place. So enjoy that. If you want to get deeper into spell crafting and you'd like something that gives you a bit of a reference for each time you're doing a spell that you can tick off and check that you've covered, I have the Spellcaster checklist. That is a free download. I'll put the link to that in the description field below. It just helps you plan your spell work, especially if you're doing a big spell that's got to cover a lot of ground. It just helps you get a little bit more grounded with your magical planning. And of course, if you want to study Wicca and you've had enough of all of the confusion and you're struggling to learn it by yourself, the Mystery Witch School 101 is there. It's a 12-month course. Of course, you can spend longer than 12 months. Once you're enrolled, once you're part of the group, you're there for the life of the course, which hopefully is there for many years to come. And you can take as long as you like to actually do the course and be part of the group. I've got people who have just graduated over the last couple of months and they're still active members in the group and still contributing, and of course still asking questions. So that's a way to get some mentoring, one-on-one mentoring with me, and to study Wicca in a way that helps you know where to start and what to do. I'll put the link to that below this video as well. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. I'm Sandra from Mystery Witch School. Blessed be.